The Great Wave by Veronique Massenot and Bruno Pilorget, a children's book inspired by the art of hokusai. Aki and Taro were childless. The summer of their lives was nearing an end, but they had neither a boy nor girl to give them joy. The couple had waited very long and tried everything they knew. They had eaten countless herbs and special foods. They had prayed fervently and given offerings in the temple. At last they felt their hope was gone. The child they had so desired did not come. There were many nights of tears and sorrow. But then suddenly, a miracle. It happened on an icy cold day in winter. The wind raged over the sea and threw mighty waves upon the land. But the men of the village still had to go out to catch fish, for winter was the season of hunger, and no fish meant even less to eat. 3 long ships set out from the harbor. Together they fought the stormy surf, ascending wave after wave to the crests and falling back again into the troghs. The men advanced in this way, wave upon wave, waiting for the right moment. They had to catch fish, whatever the cost. Then, just as they prepared to throw out their nets, an enormous wave rose up in front of them. It rose like a gigantic creature opening its foamy mouth, greedily swallowing up everything before it. Fishermen, nets, boats, everything. The men held their breath in fear, clinging to the ships and ducking down. Some even closed their eyes. When they looked out again, the wave had broken. The brave fishing group had been spared. Soon the sea became as calm as the men's silent relief. But this quiet was penetrated by a small, angry cry, and Taro was heard to shout, "Look! That wet bundle, there's a child, a brand new life. The wave has set it down on our boat." Taro's heart beat more wildly than all the drums of the world together. He took the baby boy in his arms and the crying fell silent. Taro smiled. The child so long awaited and so long hoped for had arrived at last. The happy years passed. Naoki, the boy from the sea, had a mighty appetite. He ate bowl after bowl of delicious rice, yet he did not grow any bigger. Now his 7th birthday was drawing near, and he'd barely grown an inch. Aki was worried. Would he always stay so small? And Taro often thought, how could he ever become a proper fisherman? But the wise parents had come to know patience. Maybe their child did not want to grow. Maybe they only had to wait a little longer. Wasn't it a great joy just to hold such a tiny life in their arms? Naoki waited to grow as well, while all of his friends shot upwards faster than bamboo. The boy often sat on the trunk of an old pine tree that stretched its branches out over the water. As he sat, Naoki's thoughts drifted across the sea, coming and going like the water's ebb and flow. The thoughts tormented him with hundreds of questions. Why am I not like the other children? Why did I not come from my mother's belly? Did a woman or a mysterious wave bring me into this world? Who is my real father and who is my real mother? One day, as he was sitting on his tree trunk, Naoki spied a beautiful fish beneath him. Its scales shimmered like silver, and it swam back and forth excitedly, as if wanting to speak. The boy leaned down, and the fish smiled at him. He leaned down further, and the fish called out his name. Then Naoki leaned as far as he could, and fell headfirst into the sea. Underwater, the fish seemed enormous. Its impressive whiskers were curly and black, and its voice rich and strong. "Hello, little man. Come with me. I know who can answer your questions." Naoki swam beneath him as if he too had fins. As the boy and the fish got farther from shore, their surroundings changed. The water became darker and colder, the current stronger and stronger, Naoki clung tight to his friend just to keep going. I thought everything was nice and calm under the sea, the boy thought to himself. I thought you could collect coral, hide among the water lilies, play with starfish, and find lost treasure. But the silent fish could not hear Naoki's thoughts, and the two dived deeper and deeper into the dark underwater world. Then, without warning, they plunged into a whirlpool, and Naoki was seized with panic. With all his might, the boy pulled at the fins of his scaly companion. The fish reared up and swam more slowly, at last coming to a stop. Where are you bringing me? I don't want to go further. I'm cold and I'm scared. Please turn around. My parents might be worried. I want to go back to them, and quickly, too. At these words, the animal's silver scales trembled and shone with joy. The back of the fish lengthened and began to move like a wave. Its body became larger and larger, sprouting mighty feet with sharp golden claws from its fins. The fish had turned into a dragon. Hold on tight, roared the dragon. With a single blow of its tail, the dragon thrust itself out of the ocean, flew over the volcano, and placed the boy gently upon the dearly loved beach. Goodbye, my friend, he said from a cloud above the sea. Go now. You no longer need me. Naoki did not speak. As soon as he felt the sand beneath his feet, he began to run. The happy boy ran and ran all the way to his parents' house. When he finally reached home, Naoki turned around to thank his noble friend. But the dragon was gone. The sea was as smooth as glass, as if nothing had happened. Now it is spring, and today is Koi no Bori, a children's festival. 1,001 carp fish float in the wind, their bodies made of humble cloth. Naoki looks proudly at his fluttering streamer. It swims in the wind, side by side with those of Taro, his father, and Aki, his mother. All three seemed carried by a great wave filled with love. Joyful laughter is everywhere, for Naoki has grown bigger. This book was inspired by the woodcut print titled The Great Wave by Katsushika Hokusai. He is surely the most famous Japanese painter and printmaker of all time. He was born in 1760 in what is now Tokyo, Japan. Hokusai learned to draw as a child, and he practiced his art every day until his death, describing himself as an old man crazy about drawing. He depicted the sea very often in his artwork. Japan consists of 7 islands, and with almost 19,000 miles of coastline, the sea is never far away from anywhere there. Nature is very important in Japanese culture, which believes that the sea and other bodies of water bring forth life. For this reason, Hokusai's works often show the sea, lakes, rivers, and waterfalls. Many of Hokusai's works of art, including The Great Wave, are woodcuts. In a woodcut, a picture is cut into a block of wood. It is then covered with ink and printed or pressed onto a sheet of paper. On May 5th, the children of Japan celebrate the festival of Koi no Bori, literally meaning carp streamers. Colored carp made of cloth are attached to poles and float in the wind. They symbolize the strength and courage that a child has to muster to grow up. The festival is based on a Chinese legend in which a small carp shows great courage in his journey along the famous Yellow River. At the end of his journey, the carp is transformed into a dragon, an Asian symbol of luck. Why is the Great Wave so famous? The Great Wave is one of a series of colored woodcuts that Hokusai made in 1830. He called the series 36 Views of Mount Fuji, and it helped make large-sized images of landscapes popular in Japan. Each print shows Japan's holy mountain, Mount Fuji, from a different angle and a different time of the year. In this woodcut, the mountain almost disappears behind the giant wave, a symbol of the forces of nature that threaten to swallow up the boats and fishermen.